And we'll have our final numbers out, as well as the information from the workshops. We will have that. We'll gather the PowerPoints and information from those and have those posted on our website shortly. So thanks again for everybody who made it out there. And at least it was not 90 degrees like it is today. So the other highlight from the day, before I forget, was we did once again have a complimentary massages. So we had done that several years back and then had that opportunity again this time. And about 45 people benefited from some complimentary 10-minute massages. So hopefully that was a nice experience for everybody. We're going to start with announcements. So if you have an announcement to make, please use the raise hand feature. And we're going to go around the virtual room first, and then we'll go around the room here. So Chris, I'm sure you have some really good MTA updates today.
Yes, yes, because I was out all night, so I'm here, and I'm far on the far, far away. No, I'm just kidding. Excuse me. First of all, good morning, everyone, and hello, everyone in virtual land too. Just letting you know, as you know, the strike is over. We can all say thank God. But as of 12 noon, Long Island Railroad will be running their service only on the Maconga branch, Port Washington, and Huntington. That's the mainline train. By 4 p.m., we should be back to full strength. As you know, by federal regulation, we have to make sure all trains, that's including signal switches and making sure everything is running properly. If we don't run it properly, the trains will not run properly. As Ernie, thank you, Ernie McNutt, will just go woo-hoo on me already. Just so everyone know that this morning, as a reminder, yes, the shuttle buses were running. We are reminding everyone on Access-a-Ride end, there are delays in Access-a-Ride because of the high voltage cars. So if anyone's driving into Manhattan, thank you for that donation for $9. It means we can add more accessible stations to that as well. So that is one good news there. Just to remind everyone, please, if you're planning this weekend, the Cannonball at this time is coming back, but also be advised that there will be track work going on the subway end for a 3-day weekend, because we are fixing not just elevators, just not the stations to make it fully accessible, but also making sure certain area lines are working properly so we don't have any derailment. That is the one thing. And also just to remind everyone, we do have some stations that already just opened accessibility. That is Farnham 148. 125th was announced, which I was at the press conference as well. And fourth thing also, just so everyone know that it is hot today. So we're reminding everyone, please do not run. Please be hydrated. And please try to stay in the shade when the train is not in the station yet. Try to stay in the shade. We're reminding everyone to please do not run. And I know that a lot of people in Queens do run a lot. So I'm going to remind people in Queens, because since the railroad is not back in service yet, please take your time. The accessible reroutes will be back as normal, restated back in. So if you're planning to go to Flushing, that is still will be going back to normal service at 12 noon. So you don't have to take the E to the Q44 Select. So please stay tuned for all those updates when it comes available. And as a reminder, everyone, thank you, Kelly, because we did help a lot of families and agencies to make sure they sign up for the Omni card, make sure their Omni card is registered to keep their balance in. So I do want to thank both councils, and I know I see Mary there too. So thank you, Mary, as well. And just so everyone know, if you need us, you know where to find me. Just use the bat signal. And you may not realize I might pop in on your train or bus or the railroad. So thank you, everyone, and happy belated Mother's Day to everyone, and happy Memorial Day. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Thanks, Chris. Jay?
Good morning, everyone. Jay Kleinman from LifeSpire. And yeah, it was a great fair, Kathy. Really well done. I thought we had a lot of traffic at the table, and yeah, it was great. Okay, so we have LifeSpire has behavior management, parent training available in Manhattan. So if you're interested in that, I put my contact information in the chat. It can be done either in person or remotely. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Jay. Laura?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for that. My screen kind of froze for a moment there. Hi, I'm Laura from Include NYC. I just wanted to share that we have some events coming up. One big one being Outdoors for Autism. That's happening Sunday, May 31st from 11 to 2:30 p.m. That's in Reverend T. Wendell Foster Park up in the Bronx. That is we're going to be having arts and crafts activities, sports drills, a yoga obstacle course, a bubble station, puppetry, lots and lots and lots of fun stuff. It's geared towards young people with autism ages 0 to 18 and their families, but everyone is welcome. We also have a few webinars coming up, including EI to CPSC, transition from early intervention to preschool special education services. That is happening Wednesday, May 20th from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then we also have a workshop that will be in Spanish, which covers explicit vocabulary instruction for families, so how families can support vocabulary development at home. And that one is from 12 to 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 10th. I'll add all the information in the chat as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Laura. Wendy?
Morning, everyone. So I'm doing announcements for ADAPT. ADAPT Community Network offers wide range of services for people with disabilities, including family reimbursement. We have funding for every borough, although I was told last week that Staten Island was getting close to zeroing out. A quick plug-in about that. If any of the other agencies have run out of funding in their particular borough, but are still receiving applications, please send them our way. Thank you. We also have housing advocacy, community rehabilitation, day hab, preschool, school age programs, clinical services, OPWDD housing subsidy, home enabling services, which will be starting very soon here at ADAPT. Assistive technology. Okay, that's not about me. Assistive technology and more. To get more information about that or just connect with any of the services, please call Project Connect at 877-827-2666 or email projectconnect@adaptcommunitynetwork.org. All that information is also on the chat for you. And I do want to I want to make a special plug-in for one of my programs, which is the Older Adults Home Modification Program, or OMAP. And this helps older adults make their homes safer and more accessible through providing modifications like grab bars, ramps, and other safety improvements. If you are interested in applying for that program, which is for people living in any of the 5 boroughs that are 62 years of age or older, homeowner or renter, please give me a call directly at 347-971-0325 or email me at wdeleon@adaptcommunitynetwork.org. And that information is also on the chat with the 3 flyers for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. Pat?
Good morning, everyone. Pat Liu from GHO. So first, I want to highlight as well family support, family reimbursement service for the fund for Manhattan family. So until June 30th, we still have fund available. So families in Manhattan, if you think it's late, yeah, it is late, but it's not too late. We still have time to process your application. Please submit. And then our family support case management continue to assist family who are new to the system or are seeking for OPWDD eligibility need resource and connection linkage to other service and eventually get into the right CCO, they want to bring more. Also, we have a language support in Korean and Chinese. For other waiver service, we have ComHat, site-based DayHat, community-based pre-vote and employment program available. And please contact me. I will be the person to reach out. My phone number is 718-307-6563, and I will put my detailed information on the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Viola?
Good morning, everyone. Another cheer for a wonderful family fair. It was great as every year. This is Paola Martinez Boone, the New York Lawyers for the Public Interest. Want to remind everyone that we are open during the summer and we are, free legal services. If you have any of the families that have any issues regarding programs, services, disability related, give us a call, 212-244-4664. We never have a waiting list, which is good. We try to process our cases rather fast. And once again, we don't charge anything for any of our services. So please call us. Thank you.
Thank you, Paola. Makai?
Hi, this is Makai from ADS for AHRC. I'm just letting everybody know that we have openings in all 5 boroughs, and I recently got to speak with Senator Clear last week, and I got to kind of see one of our advocates, speak for themselves, and it was for autism awareness, even though that was last month, but it was held in Harlem, and I just wanted to let everybody know that Senator Clear is someone that seems to be really on the pulse of like a lot of why she wants to like really solve a lot of issues when it comes to the intake process of a lot of our applications. And I think she knows that it takes a long time, and she's aware of how long OPWDD processes take. And she is somebody that I think would be a good resource for us. And I think I'm going to try to invite her to one of these meetings as well, just to see if she'd be open to listening to a lot of our stories, as well as just being more informed. So I just want to let people know about that.
Thanks, Makai. Yes, the Senator Cordell Clara is an ally and has been very involved with our citywide legislative events as well. So thank you. Any other announcements in the Zoom platform? Then we'll start going around the room here. Alana?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Alana from OHLB Cesara. We also have money available in family reimbursement in Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan. Thanks.
Thanks. Oscar?
Oscar Siegel, self-advocate. I'm always looking for more programs. I have my business cards for to give out later because I'm just trying to network for more doors for my films any around our state. And so I'm going more places. I have my cards give at the end to you guys to give to those people who couldn't make it. If anybody wants my cards for later, since doors are opening for the fall and for next year after the holidays. Thank you.
Thanks, Oscar.
I'm sorry. I said my doors.
Yeah. Okay. Last call for announcements. And we'll move on. Not sure if Rayanna is here. Any New York City DOH updates? Then we'll move on to OPWDD updates. Contessa?
Yes, good morning, everyone. I have a couple of updates. The first one is Get Outdoors and Get Together Day. So this year, we're going to have the Get Outdoors and Get Together Day on Saturday, June 13th. And OPWDD is joining New York State Office of Chief Disability Officer, the New York State Department of Veteran Services, the Office of Mental Health, the Justice Center for Protection of People with Special Needs, and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, along with the State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. So this is going to be a really wonderful day. And I'm going to share with you the different locations. And I'm also going to put in the chat the website so that you can go look up more information as well. This is going to be across the state. And for our area, I'm going to start with New York City. We're going to have an event at the College of Staten Island. We're also going to have an event available at Denny Farrell Rivers Bank State Park. And for those of you that might be interested in going to Long Island, they have Sunken Meadow State Park and also Hempstead Lake State Park, which is Nassau County. So there's also Hudson Valley has some areas as well, but you can check that out on the website. They want you to make sure that large vehicles such as vans and buses are required to register in advance for the New York City-based sites so they can ensure that there is adequate parking. Okay, so most events are going to be held between 10 a.m. and 2. And the website will give you the exact times for the different activities. The activities are going to be accessible and they're going to be geared to the specific parks and recreation sites. So it's going to be different depending on where you go. And they're going to have use of adaptive equipment and demonstrations will be provided at many sites, with certain sites featuring sample assisted technology loan devices from New York's regional triad centers. And these are all free events for the public. All righty, so that is that. So it is time for another strategic plan. So for 2028-2032 strategic planning, we are going to be focusing on the next 5 years. This plan is beginning in 2028 and will be an opportunity for us to work together to create a shared vision for the future of this agency and the larger systems we support. So we're going to be building on collaboration we've already begun. We want this plan to be ambitious and a statement of what our agency and what our system is capable of. And we want to see ourselves grow in the next 5 years. In order to do this, we need to hear from more people, families, and providers than ever before. So we'll be having meetings and we'll be working with the people we serve and their families, as well as providers across the state. We want to hear what's important to you, so we can make sure that the next plan reflects the diversity of thought, experience, and individual goals. Our strategic plan will be an opportunity to work together to create a roadmap for the next 5 years. And we want to move beyond just listening to what our partners have to say and to find new ways to work together to co-create goals, outcomes, and activities. We'll be hosting listening sessions, our usual forums, and smaller commissioner conversations, where the commissioner meets with families and people with disabilities to hear directly from them. We also want to find new ways to engage with people, especially those folks who have historically not had a seat at the table. We'll be building on the engagement and feedback from the last several years to use what we've learned from thousands of people that we've spoken with. And we want to better understand their experience within our system. Based on that feedback, we're hoping to have a more in-depth discussions about major topics that you flagged for us throughout the next 18 months. So we're going to have 5 to 6 in-person forums. 2 will be virtual forums. We're continuing to try and provide opportunities across the state with tentative plans for events in New York City, Westchester, Albany, Buffalo, and Binghamton. And there will be also other opportunities. So if for whatever reason you're not able to attend one of the forums, we will have other opportunities for you to participate. One of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be having surveys so that you can also get your, so you can share what's important to you. So we're going to be launching a survey this summer where you can share your priorities, goals, and vision with us. We're also going to have town halls. So we'll be hosting some topic-specific town halls. So each town hall will be focusing on a specific topic. And that will give us an additional opportunity for more in-depth conversation. And then we're also going to have something called self-advocate speak outs. We're also really hoping to engage more self-advocates in this conversation. We want their voices to be central to this work, and we want to provide a safe and inclusive space for them to be able to lead the conversations. So we're working with our colleagues in the Office of Advocacy and Peer Support to find self-advocate groups across the state to participate. And we also have an email that I'm going to put in the chat. So if you are aware of any self-advocate groups that you feel should have a voice at the table, please send that information to the email that I'm going to put into the chat. So again, we're looking forward to hearing your voices and working together so that we can move forward. And we know there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of stuff that, you know, we want to see improve. And that is it for me for today.
Thanks, Contessa.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, questions.
Contessa?
Questions here in the room first.
Contessa, you said you're sending out surveys. Is it going to only families or families and agencies?
That's a good question. Let me see. Doesn't say particularly. I think it would probably be to both, but I'm not really sure. So as soon as I get more information, I'll let you know, because I know they want a cross section of voices. So the surveys will allow more people to participate.
Oscar, did you have a
So
question?
if you want me to travel this summer and fall next around our state, I'd be happy to go to Long Island, Westchester, Hudson Valley, Capital Region, Rockland, Orange County, Central and Western New York, because my transportation budget could cover train and plane if you want me to go upstate or like to the Hudson Valley or Hamptons or Rockland, Orange County or Central Western New York or Albany, Schenectady, Detroit, Capital Region, because I have more time off on work. It's good to get out of the city as the weather warms up, especially in the fall next year after the holidays, that the summer is going to fly by. And I'm always looking for more ways around our state.
Excellent, Oscar.
And I'm zoomed out since things are back in person after COVID.
I know.
And I have my cards at the end to give to you guys for those people who are on Zoom in case do it for my films too.
Yep. Excellent. Mary, you had a question?
Yeah, when and where are the New York City town halls or listening session, whatever that particular part's called?
They don't have the dates. We don't have the dates yet. So as soon as we get that information, I'll get it out to you.
I'm sorry, I just posted the link with the dates. It's in the website. I think for New York City, it's gonna be in Beaver, the main office on June 9. But I posted the link.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a strategic planning event that's going to be at Beaver. But
So
there's going to be a lot more events.
So that's not considered the town hall?
No, it's not a town hall. It's a strategic planning meeting. It's open to providers and advocates and family members. But again, they're going to have a lot of different events this summer, and I do not have those dates for you.
Thank you.
Do you have the materials for people to see that they may want to comment on?
Not yet.
So our last meeting is next month. So if we could try to get that before we close for the summer, I think that'd be very helpful to everybody on the Zooms and in the room.
Yeah. If we don't have it by then, we will make sure you get it.
Great. Thanks, Contessa. Any other questions for OPWDD?
Could you put the self-advocacy email in the chat as well, please?
Yep. I'm going to put all of that in there for you.
Thank you so much.
Then we'll move on to IAC update. Joe?
Good morning, everyone. I don't have a lot to update in terms of the federal budget stuff that I spoke about last time. I do want to, however, ask that everybody continue to advocate strongly, contact your representatives, and utilizing whatever personal information as well as your professional knowledge about the effects this would any suggested cuts to Medicaid could have on the community and the people we serve. I think it's always important for us to be doing it, especially now as we head towards these budget conversations. However, on the federal level, there is one update I do want to make. New York State did have an opportunity to respond to the initial message from Dr. Oz and CMS and submitted. They haven't shared the letter completely, but I do happen to have. I believe I've seen it at some point, but I can't seem to find it anymore. I don't know if they're offering to share it anymore, but it was a direct response to the allegations that were made, inclusive of the acknowledgement from the federal government that in the initial allegations, in the initial mailing sent to New York specifically, there were massive mathematical errors in suggesting allegations of Medicaid fraud. In addition to the 6 or 7 page letter they responded to, there was about 60 pages of backup documentation as well. So that has occurred since our last conversation. The other thing, about a week ago tomorrow, if I have this right, HHS Inspector General T. March Bell sent letters to all 50 state attorneys general regarding the oversight of state Medicaid fraud control units. And this is signaling a more aggressive federal approach to rooting out and finding fraud. This is something that every state is preparing for and planning for. Obviously in New York, we're one of those larger utilizers of the Medicaid system. So it's something that we all have to be aware of and be prepared to defend. I think the letter in response to the initial Oz letter points out the great success we've had, and in fact that we have been proven to be more effective at rooting out fraud than the average states, than most states. So I'm confident that this should be something that we, I shouldn't say I'm confident. I'm a little concerned, and I think we all should be slightly concerned, but I do think that it's something that went to all 50 states, and we'll continue to monitor the situation as it goes forward. There were some concerning posts and social media posts made after that at that time, and we will continue to monitor the situation and update you as it comes. In terms of the state advocacy, I do want to point out it was just sent from our advocacy email to the group, but it's important that now, as we head towards potential passing of the budget, that we make the final push. I'll be putting the one-click advocacy links in the chat after we speak, but at this point, it's critical that we get the 4% targeted inflationary increase. We've been working for this the whole time, and it's important that we make sure that we, as they debate these in these final days prior to the passage of the budget, that we make sure that we continue our advocacy push. I will, like I said, I'll send that out. There is report from Governor Hochul that there was a general budget agreement, which was immediately responded to by members of the Senate and Assembly, saying that it wasn't done yet. This is about a week ago, but they're getting close, and it's more important than ever that our voices be heard. We continue to advocate for workforce stability issues, primarily through supporting a suite of bills that are supporting our staff, our DSPs, around housing security. This includes advanced housing solutions that stabilize provider staffing and service continuity. The bills that we're supporting are the Employer Assisted Housing Matching Grant Act. This is a bill that would support agencies providing financial support to their staff people for qualifying payments. Those are things like rent, emergency arrears, rental payments and arrears, down payments on an initial first home. I have a few more listed here. Hold on one second. Sorry, 1 second. I don't have it. In any case, the 12-month rolling max would be a $3,000 grant that would be matched 50-50 by the state and with the agency if they did choose to run such a program. The other is to make sure that our DSP and our human services workforce are prioritized in affordable housing scenarios. And finally, we did actually write a memo of support in regard to a bill that came out that was introduced last year but has yet to be passed regarding legislation to establish clear standards, transparency, and due process protections in OMIG audits and recoveries. Considering the push from the federal government at the moment, we just thought it was a good idea to restate our commitment to this bill as well. In addition, IAC, as well as the other provider agencies across the state, in response to, I believe I spoke about this last month, in response to the most recent provider association meeting with the commissioner, developed a CROW work group that was proposed by the commissioner in order to resolve ongoing issues with the CROW, which is Certified Residential Opportunity List, which is our current way of filling vacancies for providers. Each provider association was asked to provide 2 representatives. Our representatives are going to be Dalian Porter from ADAPT and Michael Weinberg from AHRC. We have conducted 2 member meetings so far to compile the concerns of our members to be addressed. These were very well attended, lively conversations. I would say the first meeting we had well over 130 people, and the conversation went well past the scheduled time. Every successive group that we speak to about this is bringing up the same issues. There's real stress that is being put on the system, and it's not really living up to what it needs to be providing the services we need. So we're confident that will be a good conversation. They haven't yet scheduled the meeting. So we have compiled all of the concerns, and I'll keep you updated as we hear more about that. Moving on. This past maybe 2 weeks ago, we were up in Albany for Education Lobby Days. I'm going to be doing a little more directly reading because this is Kate's area of expertise and she's giving me her notes. But I was there and present. I will say that it was a bunch of optimistic conversations, which was good to see. First and foremost, we still don't have a state budget. We're hoping to have that by June. There was great turnout for Lobby Days. We had a strong presence in Albany with about 18 education committee members, including coalition partners from Donnie and Western New York, in our meetings with key legislators. Our goal was to show that our programs fill an important gap in the education system and that our programs have a wide reach across New York State, and we need consistent support, especially as universal child care programming rolls out next year. We had some key allies. We held briefings with influential chairs of the education committees, Senator Shelley Mayer and Assemblyman Mike Benedetto and Assemblymember Tapia. They are hearing our concerns loud and clear and are fully invested in finding solutions. We are pushing for a funding increase for special education providers of at least 2.7%, which is tied to statute, and pointing out that increases to school districts and teachers for universal child care must also include increases for special education providers at our 4410s and 583 schools. And we also did have conversations regarding teacher retention. We were asking for at least $30 million for our retention programs and recruitment programs that help us keep our teachers from leaving for higher paying jobs in the public school system. And we also had some specific to New York City labor and hiring issues that we wanted addressed. We are supporting legislation to fix a specific New York City issue right now, that if a teacher leaves the Department of Education, they often have to wait 1 to 2 years before they can work in our special education programs again. We want to make sure that we remove that barrier. In addition, we also want to prevent the DOE from forcing staff to leave our programs with less than 2 weeks notice. This came directly from reports of people within our member agencies. But right now, DOE gives a candidate 24 hours to accept the position and start. This creates a sudden and unfair gaps in our classrooms. The other thing I wanted to note was that the tone of our meetings with the state improved significantly. They're much more engaged and collaborative than they were earlier this year. So my final thing was at the end of the education lobby days, I stayed one extra day with Winnie for Winnie to participate in a hearing between the Senate Standing Committee on Labor and Senate Standing Committee on Disabilities regarding barriers to employment for individuals with disabilities. A number of representatives across the state were present, and some consistent issues and, targeted questions from the committee members themselves led to really refining a few specific areas that were of most importance that came out of that meeting. It appeared one was the clear challenges of the benefits cliff that people hit when they start earning an income. They wanted to make sure that they address that issue. Also, transportation. With many of our employees, individuals who working from 3 to 11 shifts, there were targeted assistance for transportation that ended at 10 p.m. They wanted to extend some of those hours to include those people and make it more doable for them to maintain employment. There was consistent, and this is kind of an ongoing issue that was part of the Crow conversation as well, but ongoing eligibility and coordination of between agencies around eligibility was a consistent theme in that meeting as well. That's all I have for today. If there's any questions or any things that you'd like me to look into further for you, please let me know.
Thanks, Joe. Any questions for Joe about IAC?
Do you need my services for anything? Because my schedule's handy at Shake Shack. I'm now doing Monday, Tuesday, free Wednesday through Sunday. If you want me to come to the Hudson Valley those days for anything.
Okay, well, share your information with IAC, okay?
I have my cards later to pass out to those people who aren't on Zoom.
Excellent. Thanks, Oscar. Then we'll move on. We do have a guest presentation today. Kate Gottlieb from New York City Department of Social Services, their Offices of Disability Affairs, is here today to talk about some of the initiatives and programs that they are currently working on. Kate?
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. Kathy, can I share my screen? I did actually do a little presentation.
I did give you a co-host.
I do? Okay.
You should be able to share.
All righty. Let's see. How's that? Can you see that?
Yes. Yep, you're good.
Awesome. So, hi, everybody. I'm Kate Gottlieb. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I most recently came from Adapt Community Network a little over a year ago, and then have been in the field for a very long time and used to co-chair the MSC committee with Kathy way back in the day. But today, my role is with AHRC New York City. So I was hired by AHRC to work on a grant with the Taft Foundation, supporting individuals with IDD in the New York City shelter system. So I am directly working with the Office of Disability Affairs for the city. And I just wanted to talk to you all a little bit about this because even me coming into this role, I have been very surprised by the number of people with intellectual developmental disabilities and their families in the shelter system. And just tell you a little bit about what this initiative is, and if you're working with anybody, that you could certainly reach out to me about any services. Let me just fix something here. Give me 1 second. There we go. So who we're serving? We're serving individuals and families that are currently residing in New York City shelters, and they are suspected of having or do have intellectual or developmental disabilities. Some of them may be connected to OPWDD and some of them may not be. We work with a lot of services within the city. That includes the entire Department of Social Services, the Department of Homeless Services, specifically Human Resources Administration. A very strategic partner that I'm working with directly is the DHS Medical Office of Complex Care team. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. Health and Hospitals works with us because we know there's a lot of people with IDD who have been in the hospital system waiting for services, and oftentimes they get released into shelter. So we work directly with them, work directly with OPWDD, the CCOs, and then all of you, the provider agencies, we're also working with as well. So the goal of this grant with the Taft Foundation is to bridge the gap between the shelter system and OPWDD eligibility and any services. So overarching goal of this grant is to train all Department of, or at least up to 2,000 staff in the Department of Social Services, and again, specifically the DHS staff. We want them to understand what IDD is. We're not asking them to make diagnosis, but if a family or an individual discloses that they might have IDD, or if they're noticing certain patterns of IDD, we're trying to provide education to them to then get those individuals evaluated and potentially get them eligibility. And also, if they are not eligible, and as was just discussed, eligibility can take a long time, or there are obstacles to eligibility, to give them some tips and tricks on how to work with children or adults. Let me also point out, this is for individuals in adult shelters, men and women. This can be families, adult families, so the person over age 22, and this is also families with children. So all aspects, individuals on their own, adults and or children with families. So helping them identify individuals in shelter who may qualify and what types of services they can get, helping them navigate those services, connecting them to CCOs and OPWDD. And I do monthly, we do bi-monthly, monthly webinars on either adult services and eligibility or children's services and eligibility. Some of the biggest obstacles that I'm facing right now is lack of documentation, any type of records before the age of 22. This is primarily for the adults that I have come into contact with. Either they have a long history in shelter, so they might be estranged from their families and they don't have any type of documentation. So we have to be strategic with the shelters to help them try to find out, where did that person go to school? If it was in New York, and did they possibly have an IEP, then we try to get those DOE records and see if there's any old IEPs or psychological, psychoeducational evals. It also could be health records that they might have had previously. Another big challenge of that documentation is a lot of our immigrant families who have not brought that documentation with them, or it was poorly documented in their country. The other big challenge is, particularly for the adults in shelter that are on their own, is not having a consistent informant for the psychosocials and the psychological evals. So we don't have, they may not have any family members who are able to speak to their history. So we kind of, struggle to get that together for them. Sometimes they do have family, and we try to reach out if we have their permission. If they're not estranged from them, we can reach out. Another huge obstacle, and we're hoping to advocate for this in future, is anybody who is residing in shelter is not eligible for HCBS waiver services. So that might be day programs or ComHab. And we know that if these adults, particularly again, in shelter, have access to day programs during the day, that would provide so much stabilization for them. What I have seen and what we know is that when they're not engaged in activities, then unfortunately they're very vulnerable in shelter to bad influences. A lot of people end up with substance abuse issues because they just don't have any activity. So I would love to see some advocacy for individuals who reside in shelter to be able to access any waiver services. That being said, anybody who does get eligibility is on the top of the list for the CROW. So we do make sure that we are working with the CCOs and that they get onto the top of that waiting list on the CROW so we can move them into stable housing. Medicaid is also an obstacle for many of our families. We did get eligibility for several individuals, but unfortunately they had emergency Medicaid. They'd come from out of the country, and we can't establish that full-time Medicaid. So then they're going to be left without certain services. We know they can get family support services, but it would be great if we can get them Medicaid. And then what I'm also seeing a lot of is the comorbid diagnoses of IDD and mental health needs. So that tends to be exacerbated in shelter as well for a lot of people who may have mental health issues, either quite severe with, maybe it's a bipolar disorder and IDD, or depression or schizophrenia. So then that's where I work with our complex care team. And the complex care team is associated with the medical office, and anybody who has incidents of high behaviors in shelter or medical needs in shelter, and they have IDD and others, they don't just work with people with IDD, that's more my role with the city. They can reach out and ask for a complex care team member to be involved to help stabilize them and get them to the right supports. So if you can believe it, I was shocked by these numbers. Again, when I went in, I was like, there can't be that many people in shelter with IDD. I was wrong. So in my first year, we've served 110 people or families and individuals with IDD. And then that's February to February. And then since even just January of this year, I've had about 45 cases that have come to me. And then we've served, done over 800 people have attended trainings, these lunch and learns that I'm doing. Again, it's on eligibility. And then we're doing individual trainings as well. We've done behavioral supports for children, more for children, but you can apply that to some of the adults as well. Picky versus problem eaters, transition planning, lunch and learns. If any of you have a topic you would love to come and present, we just do an hour lunch and learn once a month. Let me know. I'm always ready to take people in. And I want to thank all of you who attended. We had many of your organizations come to a resource fair. There were over 300 attendees from the from the Department of Social Services who attended the resource fair and found it incredibly helpful to meet one-on-one with all the agencies. And then my role really is this ongoing support and consultation to the shelter staff and to the complex care team. So what happens is they identify somebody or a family. We find out if they're connected to OPWDD. Sometimes they are, or they had past eligibility and they need to get new evals. Then I connect with a provider agency like AHRC. I work very closely with AHRC's intensive case management team to either get them in to do evals, or for us to bring them in to get the evals done. They get submitted for eligibility, and then we connect them with a CCO to make sure then they can get the supports and services that they need. So I want to just give you, if you have general questions, if you have families or individuals that you know are in shelter and they maybe need a reasonable accommodation, you can contact Disability Affairs at dss.nyc.gov. That's the general support for anybody with any types of disabilities, not just IDD, disability cares. But if you have a family or individual you know is in shelter now and is struggling and needs, either their CCO can't reach them, or they need more intensive supports, then you can reach out to me directly at gottliebk@dss.nyc.gov. So I just wanted to let you know about that, because I was surprised at the number that I've been encountering, and really want to connect people to the services they need. So I'm open to any questions. It was a little quick and simple presentation for you.
Thanks, Kate. Any questions?
I do have a question. This is great, Kate. I think I'm gonna be reaching out to you because I do have someone who is an immigrant, and but he does have Medicaid.
Okay.
But he's in the shelter system trying to get more permanent housing. But the issue has been documenting his disability.
Okay.
Because he came with nothing. He's very limited. He didn't go to school in his country. So it's a lot of layers, and we're trying to assist.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
And unfortunately, we are having that a lot, Paola. We do have a lot of families who can't get that documentation. So we're trying the best we can to have anybody that in their family or even the shelter that's been working with them for a while to write up like any type of narrative to help support this as well. And all of you probably know her name. I work directly in the Office of Disability Affairs with Jennifer Scholl. So this is the team that's working together, and we're working directly with OPWDD. She had contacts over the years, and so we're working directly, and we can try to help appeal any eligibility issues. An example, we recently had a family saying they don't have Medicaid. They didn't get eligibility.
Okay.
Very clearly.
11 o'clock, yes, because right now he's sending.
They very clearly should have gotten eligibility. And then, Jen had a contact. We reached out and said, please review this. And then they got the eligibility. But they still have the issue of not having Medicaid, and he's going to graduate in 2 years. So I'm very worried about him because I want him to be able to go to a day program. So we'll have to fight for state dollars, or well, not me, because they actually successfully moved out of shelter into their own home. So we'll have to
also, Kate, for immigrants who if they reside in New York State, in order to get Medicaid, you can utilize the PRU-Call in order to make them eligible for Medicaid. I mean, I could send you the information, but a lot of our clients, they're on their PRU-Call that is specific to New York State.
Yeah, send it to me. I know some of these families have emergency, and then that goes away, and then they're left with nothing. So
no, if they have PRU-Call,
if they have PRU-Call,
that they have to show is that they reside. Not that they have a status that they reside, meaning that New York State knows that they exist and they live in New York State, and therefore they will have PRU-Call, and then they will eventually get Medicaid.
Yeah, I would love to talk to you because I have a lot of people in this situation. I'll put that information in the chat to my contact. Thank you, everybody, for letting me present, and so good to see so many faces.
Thanks, Kate. We'll move on to committee reports. Manhattan Family Support Service Advisory Council, Mary or Jackie?
Hi, I'm Mary McGuire-Leifer, co-chair of the Manhattan Family Support Service Advisory Council. Just two quick updates. One is talking about the fair. It was a great success. We had a workshop on camp and recreation programs, creating meaningful experience. It was well-attended workshop, great information. It was a collaborative effort with Pat Yu and Andrew Harris from the Transition Committee, Manawani Singh from Family and Provider Committee, along with Jackie and myself. We had 4 people presenting, 4 agencies. The HRCs presented on their campaign in the lodge, Rising Treetops of Oakhurst in New Jersey, Wagon Road Camp in Chappaqua from Children's Aid Society, and Camp Ramapo.
That's my camp.
Which
I used
is
to go there.
Ramapo for Children.
Rhinebeck.
And then, right, in Rhinebeck. So HRC is actually having an open house at their camp this June 7th, I believe. Andrew said you could put that in the chat for us.
It's in the chat for us.
It's already in the chat for us. Look at that. There's transportation provided from HRC, a nice huge bus, but the space is filling up quickly for that. So you might want to take advantage of that. You can email me at manhattanfamilyadvisory@gmail.com or call 917 796-5407 for more information about that. And on a statewide level, for those who attended the Family Support Service quarterly meeting with OPWDD in March, the commissioner started the meeting informing everyone that moving forward, we are not going to have a public meeting. The statewide representatives throughout New York State are meeting tonight before our June meeting, which is on June 10th, to discuss a proposed motion about the meeting format and the structure of the FSS meetings moving forward. What we're going to propose is an open session for the first hour and a half or 2 hours, making the meeting accessible to the public via Zoom with updates from the commissioner's office, and to conclude with a dedicated period for public comment.
That's nice tomorrow. Last specified is June 3rd.
Following that public session, we would transition to a closed executive session. Camera feeds would be disabled, and this 16 statewide reps throughout New York would meet with OPWDD in a closed session as they proposed to begin with. This would allow OPWDD not to rent conference room space across New York State or provide audio-visual equipment and technical personnel. One of the reasonings for not having a public meeting. So again, that will be discussed tonight at a meeting and further discussed with OPWDD at our quarterly meeting in June, which again will not be a public meeting. But we will get back to you on that. So that's all we have.
Thanks, Mary. Transition, Andrew or Pat?
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Harris. I co-chair the Manhattan Transition Committee with Pat Lu Cheng from GHO, and we have a really cool meeting for you next month. June 10th is going to be our last meeting of the school year, and the topic will be a Beyond Day program, community connections for youth with IDD. We're going to be featuring brief presentations by a range of different organizations that have programs for recreation, socialization, some after-school and weekend recreation programs, community inclusion, some getaway trips, arts, music, theater, and more. So the idea here is we focus a lot during transition on finding the right day hab program, finding that employment program that's going to help you get a job. This is about everything else that can go into building a meaningful day and should have something for everyone. Meeting is still taking shape. So if you are from a provider that has such a program that you'd like to feature, please reach out to us. I'll drop my email into the chat. We're hoping that this can be full of great ideas and connections for everybody. It's going to be a hybrid meeting, so you can join us on Zoom. I'll put the link in the chat, or you can join us in person at CPC 1 on the Lower East Side. The address there is 45 Suffolk Street. We have a meeting room on the second floor, and that information will be in the chat too. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. 10 o'clock a.m. on June 10th. So hope to see you there.
Thanks, Andrew. Family and Provider Information Committee, Wendy?
Hi, so our next meeting will be in June. We were looking to finalize some dates. Obviously, June 10th is out, so thank you for going first, Andrew. It'll either be the following week or the 24th, but we're looking to have a presentation from representatives from HRA on Medicaid, taking into consideration all the changes that have been happening, the issues that people have been having. Some more information to come about that. We'll have Andrew send out an email blast once the date is finalized with the link and more information for everyone.
Thanks, Wendy. And again, thank you to all of the committee chairs for all of your ongoing efforts, and especially for pulling together the resource fair this past week. Any other questions, comments, new business, concerns? Chris?
Yeah, I hope in the next year or even in, let's say, just to remind everyone, July is Disability Pride Month. So just to remind everyone that July is, you know, a lot of events goes around. It's also not just the Disability Pride Month, it's also celebrating the United States 250th birthday. And there's a lot of events coming up, so stay tuned for that. But we also at the same time to remind all the subcommittees, if you want the MTA or even me to pop in to do a presentation, just to remind everyone to please make sure you sign up for Omni or know how to sign up for Omni. Or if you want the accessory to come in, where they do their accessory, how to sign up for the app, there is presentation is available from MTA Government Relations or MTA Accessibility or Accessorize. Last time I remember you had Sarah here, but the other teams from the MTA could come out, like you saw Sarah was there last time, but it's not easy sometimes to get them because, as you know, we are still going around without a head of us. But we're reminding everyone to please make sure of that. That's just to remind everyone. I'm reminding this to all councils as I'm going around the borough and upstate as well. Thank you.
Thanks. Wendy?
Yes, I just wanted to, because we've been talking a little bit here and there about the fair, just add my thanks to all the provider agencies and community partners that tabled at the event. We had 50 of you there, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. You are a huge part of the event annually. One of the main reasons why people attend is the resource aspect of the resource fair. So having you all there, enthusiastically speaking to people and providing information, answering questions in person, is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. And I just want to remind folks, we're approaching the end of this. I don't know, we follow a school calendar, so I guess the school year for the DD Council. But in September, we start again. For those of you who were saying, hey, consider me for the prime area, just wanted to throw out there that most of the folks there were DD Council members who had paid their membership. So if you want a prime spot for you provider agencies, that is a guaranteed way of getting it for next year. So come September, be sure to keep an eye out for an email from the DD Council regarding membership, so that you can, pay your membership dues and ensure a prime spot for our next fair. Thank you. Just a little thank you and plug in at the same time there, Kathy.
Thanks, Wendy.
Hi, it's Mary again. Why Wendy is giving a shout out to people, I actually also want to shout out to agencies who provided great volunteers for us who are bilingual.
Like me.
Which I will tell you was Synergia, Adapt, YAI, HRC, and GHO. Without that volunteer and the bilingualness, which is absolutely a godsend for us. Thank you, and thank you. It was truly appreciated.
And I'll double and reiterate all the thanks. That I think it was a great event. And as I had said last week at the event, my personal highlight of that day is giving out raffles, cash raffles, and seeing the faces of 5 Manhattan family members who were able to receive a little extra cash really makes my day. So it was a great day. And again, thanks to all who attended. We actually ended up selling out all of our vendor booths. So either we're going to have to expand or at least look at reconfiguring things if we have more interest next year. So.
Center.
There we go. Hope it'll go.
But so we will definitely keep those things in mind. And before ending, our next meeting will be on June 16th. We could use a space if you have it. Otherwise, we do have this location here at 83 Big Lane. But if you have space and you'd like to host, just let us know and we'll take the show on the road. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
And I'm gonna give you guys my cards for you guys for this one.
Hold on, Oscar. And stay cool.